Hey everyone, it's Matt Fraser, the Psychic Medium. Come on in. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about spirit visits and the reason why children might see dead people. And this is actually one of the topics that I love to talk about because I too was one of those kids. I grew up like that little boy from The Sixth Sense where I would see and hear the spirit world. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my experiences. But also, I want to talk to you about how to comfort a child that might be seeing and hearing the departed. And you might have a grandchild, a son or a daughter, or a best friend who has a son or a daughter who is experiencing that same thing. So I want to explain to you why children see and hear dead people, what ages that spans, and why you shouldn't be afraid. Or they shouldn't be afraid, I should say. So I want to talk to you guys all about it. And I also want to kind of tell you the opposite end of why the dead come and visit the little kids. So it's not as spooky as you might think. I see Nancy Sasso is here. Hello, hello. I see Darcy is here. I see Kimberly Fletcher is here. Hey, Kimberly. I see Janet is here from Maine. I love that. I also see that Shelly is here. I see that. Oh my God, I see Deborah's here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Deborah, I hope you're coming to see me. I'm coming to give readings in Erie, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Excuse me. I also see that Jessica is here as well. And I see Matt Mahan is here. And I also see that Kaylee is here as well. Thank you so much for the love. All right, you guys, before we get started, if you haven't heard, I am back on tour this week. I am so excited. This week, I'm coming to give live readings in Plymouth, Massachusetts. There's a few seats left. So if you can make it to Plymouth, Massachusetts, this is my last tour date in Massachusetts for this year. So if you can come and join me, I'm going to be giving live readings at Plymouth Memorial Hall on July 14th and 15th. Tickets are on sale right now on my website. And then I'm heading to the West Coast where I'll be giving live readings in Las Vegas. Super excited about that event as well. It's the smallest event that I actually do on tour. So if you can make it to Las Vegas, you got to make sure that you come and see me at the Venetian. Here's where I'm coming. Ready? Plymouth, Massachusetts. Then I'm heading to the Venetian in Las Vegas. Then I'm coming to Erie, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Moncton, Canada. I'm also coming to, oh my God, I can't even think. Harris, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, Laughlin, Nevada. I'm coming to Omaha, Nebraska. Where else as well? Oh my God, I can't think. Oh, Northfields, Ohio. All the dates are up on my website, meetmattfraser.com. And during these live events, I do one thing. I help you connect with your loved ones. There's also one online reading left for August. If you're interested in attending online, you can visit meetmattfraser.com. So 2 different ways to get a reading with me. Come and see me live on tour when I'm in your city or close to your city. Or 2, you can join me live online where I give readings right from this office. So that being said, meetmattfraser.com is the website. Let's get started. I want to talk to you guys all about this. Oh my God, thank you so much for all of you guys who have wishing me the happy birthday. Thank you, Vandy, as well. I had such an amazing birthday. Alexa brought me out. We had an adult night. Then the next day we went out with, we went and spent the whole day with Royce, just Alexa, I, and Royce. It was absolutely incredible. So I want to thank you guys so much for that. All right, let's get into this because I am so excited to talk about this with you guys. So first of all, children who see spirit. This is something that is so amazing because every single child will have an interaction with someone who had died. And, you know, it sounds scary right away, right? Right away, when people start to actually put together what's going on, when children actually see people who had died, they automatically get freaked out. And they're like, Matt, why is it that my son is seeing my grandfather that had died? Or Matt, why is my son connecting with, you know, his great grandmother? Or Matt, my daughter was screaming and crying the other day because, you know, this woman came to visit her and I don't know who it is. It's someone who had died. I know that, but I don't know who it is. Why? What do they want with them? Well, I want to talk to you guys all about it because here's what's amazing. Your loved ones in spirit get to visit your children before they're even born here in this world. So first of all, I want to take that worry right out of your head, right? If you've ever worried, oh my God, my son was born after my dad died. My dad never got to meet my son. My dad never got to see my son. Think again, because what's really cool is that at one point we were all in heaven with one another. I know it seems a little weird, right? But think about it. Before we're born here in this world, our soul still exists. Our soul comes down from heaven. We start our journey in heaven. We're born into our body here in this world. And what's really cool is this, is that before we're born, before we're born, our soul starts on the other side. And that's the reason why psychics and mediums can always tell you if you're going to have a boy, if you're going to have a girl, if you're going to have twins, how many kids you're going to have. Have you ever wondered that? Have you ever wondered how psychics and mediums know, how a psychic or a medium can look at you and say, oh my God, I see that you're going to have 3 kids. Or, oh my God, I see that you're going to have 2 boys and a girl. Or I see that you're going to have just 2 boys. You're only going to have 2 kids. How do they know this? Well, the psychics and mediums know this because when we connect to the other side, we can actually see those souls before they're born, which is really amazing. So, for example, there's been so many readings that I've done like this. I actually want to share with you from another point of view. Not to go into story time, but I just feel like I have to because, to explain everything that I've learned from the other side, you guys are going to know that I've never Googled this or researched this. Everything that I teach you guys, everything that I've learned about the spirit world, about the other side, I've learned through my readings. So, what was amazing was there was this man that I had read for, and he was in such deep grief because when he was 16 years old, he was driving he was driving his sister off to school. And when he was driving his sister to school, they both went to the same school. She went to the elementary level, obviously, when he was in an older grade. So he used to drop her off first, and then he used to continue on to school. Well, when he was driving to school, he was driving them both to school. He wasn't paying attention. He got into a car accident and he killed his sister. And it was an accident, right? It was an accident. It happened. He had just gotten his license not too long ago. He'd only been on the road a couple months. And, this was something that lived with him every single day. Every single day, he was in such mourning, such pain, such hurt because he had killed his sister. The accident had killed his sister. Well, he came to me for a reading. It wasn't until several years later. He had been about 25 years old. And he came to me for a reading, and his sister came through, and he sobbed and he sobbed and he sobbed. He was just could not believe that his sister was coming through. And his sister said to him that she didn't want him to stop, it's to stop his life. He was so afraid of being a father. He was afraid of being a father. He was afraid of being a parent because, he was living with that guilt every single day that he killed his sister when he was 16. He didn't want any kids. He didn't want to see a child. He just planned on being alone within his life. And his sister came through to him in spirit, and his sister said, "You're going to get married. Don't stop the process." And she said that he was going to have a little girl, and the little girl that he was going to have would be his daughter, and it was going to remind him so much of his sister that had died. And she actually told me during this vision and during this reading that she had his little girl that was going to be born years later on the other side with her. Right. And when I asked her about that, she explained to me that, souls first start off as heaven and they're born here in this world. And that's when I first really got to understand how souls know, right? How souls are able to tell when we're going to have one child, two child, the sex of our child, so on and so forth. It's because they start off in heaven and then they're born here in this world. So I'm letting you guys know this because think about it. Any of your loved ones that have passed away, your great-grandmother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your mom or your dad, your sister, your brother, no matter who it is, they're there with souls that haven't even been born here in this world. And it's not just them. Think about it this way too. There's many times where I'll also see pet souls that are going to be born here in this world as well, which is really cool, right? Because all souls start on the other side. We're born here in this world, and then we go back to the side. It's like one big circle. So that's how come sometimes we know each other, right? If you've ever had that experience where you met your soulmate for the first time and you felt like you've known them for years and years, you met your best friend and you're just kindred spirits. When you met each other, you felt like you've known each other forever. It's because you have met them before. We've all started our journey in heaven. Now, of course, this isn't something we remember, right? Just like we don't remember to walk, talk, or speak. And it's actually really sad, right? I've been taking a lot of pictures, spending time with Royce and Alexa because like Alexa and I look at one another and, it kind of makes us emotional because we're like, oh my God, all these things we're doing with Royce, him taking his first steps and, us teaching him how to walk and talk and do all these things. He's never going to remember these moments, right? Our minds at that age just can't process. We can't remember all of these experiences. And I kind of wish that he could. So I take a lot of videos and I take a lot of pictures to one day remind him that, hey, listen, look at what you were like when you were younger. This is what mommy and daddy did for you. I want him to remember all of those moments because I know that he's not going to. And what's really sad is I look back and I say, I wish that I remember all these moments that I had with my mom and my dad. Of course, we don't remember those things because, like I said, our brain is still developing, right? We're physical. Now, one day when we pass away, all of those memories come back, believe it or not. But here in the physical world, we don't get the privilege of seeing all of that. So I'm telling you this for one reason, because children have experiences with seeing and hearing the departed, but they don't remember it. The same way that, we really don't remember much or anything at all before the age of 3, right? That's when we start to really store those memories and process those memories. That's when children interact with spirit. So between the ages of 1 to 3, or even beforehand, really, because spirits are always coming to visit them, children can see and hear the spirit world. It's a gift that they have. And the reason why is because they're new souls. They're just born in this world. Your children that see spirit just came from the spirit world, right? We're born into their body here in this world, just started living life, and still have an amazing connection with the other side. It's almost like this. It's almost like when you first leave your parents' house, right? When you first leave your parents' house, you go back and forth, you call them all the time, you're always getting in touch with them, right? When you first move out, you always feel that string, or that you have that tether that keeps you connected with your parents. Well, it's the same thing with your loved ones in spirit. When souls are born here in this world, when children are born here in this world, your loved ones in spirit come back to keep an eye on them. They watch over them. They like to see them take their first steps and grow and get older the same way that we do. So the same way that everybody comes rushing to see a newborn here in this world, your loved ones in spirit do the exact same thing when a child is born here in this world. And oftentimes, your children will have those experiences. Now, what I want you guys to know is that many times your child might be talking to an imaginary friend, or talking to somebody who, you don't recognize, or don't think is somebody that's real, right? But think again, because what I want you to know is that sometimes those imaginary children, or those imaginary people that your children are talking to, are actually souls that have passed away. And one of the things that you can do, if you have a child or a grandchild that's seeing and hearing dead people, or you think that they're seeing and hearing dead people, is try to play detective and figure out who it is that they're talking to, right? I'm going to share with you something that just happened with Royce that is so amazing. And by the way, a lot of you guys have been asking me, Matt, is Royce psychic? Have you noticed anything with Royce? And I have noticed some things. I noticed that he's extremely, extremely intuitive with emotions. I see that he's very, 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 connected to people. When he looks at you, it feels like he's looking right into your soul. It's almost like when I look at him, I'm wondering if he's reading people, because I can see that same look that I get sometimes in my eyes when I'm reading people. But the thing is that it's impossible for me to know until he gets past the age of 3, right? Because past the age of 3 is when some children will hold on to their psychic ability and others won't. For example, my poor sister, right? My poor sister, she doesn't have any abilities whatsoever. She'll tell you. My sister's like blocked out all of her psychic ability. Now, I know when she was younger, right? I remember when she was just very young, because me and my sister are six years apart. When she was just a little girl, she would have imaginary friends. She would talk to spirits, right? But then she grew out of it, right? She didn't retain that gift and her ability. And now my sister, she said, if you were to ask her, she'd be like, I have no ability whatsoever. That's all my brother. But the thing is that we all have that connection at some point. So I'm telling you this for one reason, right? Because I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that, when Royce was first born, I would sense and feel my grandfather all the time with Royce. And my grandfather, before he died, one of the things that my grandfather always said to me is, I'm not going anywhere, he used to say to me, until you have a child. I want to see you get married. I want to see you have a child, and then I'll die. Then I'll be okay, right? Then I'll go to the other side. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see, he used to tell me. And then, of course, I just met Alexa. And, unfortunately, my grandfather was passing. And of course, we told him that we planned on getting married. We told him that, that we planned on having kids and whatnot. And, I knew he wasn't going to be here to see our wedding day. I knew he wasn't going to be here in physical form, that is, for when our child was born. So we told him all these things before he had died, to make him feel at peace with it. Even though, he had said to me, don't worry, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Of course, I knew that he wasn't going to be, just because he had cancer that was just rapidly going through his body. Well, anyway, what I want you to know is that the reason why I'm telling you this story is that after he had passed away, when Royce was born, I felt him so strongly around Royce. There was so many times where I felt him right there with Royce in the bedroom. And it wasn't a bad thing, right? It was an amazing thing. It was an amazing experience, because I knew he was coming in to check up on Royce and to see Royce. And what was amazing is I remember one day, I actually talked to you guys about it when Royce was first born. It was early in the morning. I had gotten up, like Royce was crying. It was like 8 a.m. He had to be changed and have his bottle. And I went into the room. I was like stumbling. I was like tired. And I went and I picked him up and I put him on the changing table. And the whole room smelled like Abercrombie and Fitch. And that was my grandfather's favorite cologne. Like he would wear it all the time because I used to work back in the day, Abercrombie and Fitch. And I always used to buy in bottles. And then after that, that was his cologne. Like I had to stop wearing it because he used to steal all my bottles. So every year, right? 3 times a year, 4 times a year, I would buy in bottles of Abercrombie cologne just so that he could go and smell nice for the ladies. And if you guys came to some of my shows way back when, you would know that my grandfather always wore that. Well, anyways, when I woke up in the morning to change Royce, all I could smell was that Abercrombie cologne all through the room. And I remember waking up Alexa up and being like, Alexa, come in here, come in here. And she came into the room and she's like, who the hell, what did you? She's like, she smelled it too. She's like, what did you go and break a bottle of cologne? And I was like, no, I'm like, it's popping. She's like, oh my God. And she started getting emotional. I knew his soul was just there. Like I just had missed him. Well, anyways, the reason why I'm telling you this is now, well, from the time that had happened up till now, right, when Royce actually started being mobile and could walk and move and whatnot, he gravitates, you guys, gravitates to my grandfather's picture. Like literally, no matter where we are in the house, if he sees that picture, he locks eyes with that picture. He reaches out to his hands. He has to grab it and look at it and like really try to understand it. And just the other day, we were at my mom's house, and my mom, after my grandfather died, she's got a bookmark with my grandfather's face on it. It was something that the funeral home had given to her. And Royce saw the book and saw my grandfather's face sticking out of the book and went over to the book. And my mother's like, oh, grab that book. I'm like, no. He's going for the bookmark. He wants the bookmark. And my mother's like, wants the bookmark? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, watch. And right away, he grabbed the bookmark and it's like looking like this, like almost like to say, like, I know you. Like, how did you get here? Right? It's because we retain certain things. So what I want you to know is that as children get older, they start to get nervous because in the beginning, when these souls are visiting them, children don't know that they're dead. Children just think that they're like us. But later on, they start to realize that nobody else can see what they see. And that's what makes them scared. At least that's what made me scared. What made me scared were 2 things. Okay, I'm putting one up, but it's 2. 2 things made me scared. One is I didn't know the people who were coming to visit me, right? There were people who had died way before me. So to me, they were strangers. And 2, I could see something that nobody else could. Those are the 2 things that made me scared. It wasn't until, I actually put together what was happening and understood what was happening later on in life that I realized that these were just souls that I had probably met before that came back to visit me. So I'm letting you guys know this as well. So if you have a child who's maybe scared, who's maybe frightened, who's maybe telling you that they're seeing a certain woman or a certain man that keeps appearing, start to figure out who that person is. What you can do is put out a photo album, ask that child to go through and look at different pictures. And maybe if it's someone who had passed, who is in the neighborhood or something like that, you can show them pictures and ask, do any of these people look familiar? And you might be really shocked to hear that the person that child is seeing is the old owner of the house, is the neighbor that had passed away. Let them explain it to you. And what you'll probably hear is that child saying, Mommy, look, that's the woman that comes to visit me every night. And if it was someone that you knew, like your mom or your dad, you can explain to your child, oh yeah, that's your grandma, that's your grandfather. And the reason why they're visiting you is you have this phone line to heaven. You have this connection to them at all times. They watch over you because they love you and they care about you and they want to see what it is that you're doing in life, right? They're like your guardian angels or your guardians. So, that's one of the things that you can explain to those children. And I think that when I was younger, if my mom did that with me and explained it to me, I wouldn't have been as afraid as I was, and at the same time, if you start to, if you make them real, right? If your son or your daughter is being upset because they're seeing something that nobody else can, validate their feelings. Say to them, okay, I know that grandma comes to visit you. I know that grandpa comes to visit you, because this way they don't feel like they're all alone in this. They don't feel like they're seeing something that they shouldn't, because that's what I felt like when I was a kid. So I want to share this with all of you because, it's an amazing thing when spirits come to visit a child. It's not a bad thing. It means that they're so loved by certain souls on the other side. And I see this not just with, so there's 2 times when people see spirits, right? When you're first born here in this world and when you're dying here in this world. And both times are amazing experiences. When we're first born here in this world, we see the souls because we're a new spirit. When we're passing away, we see the souls because we're a soul that's returning to the other side. Both times we're closer to heaven. When we're born here in this world, we're closer to heaven because we just came from heaven. And when we're passing away, we're closer to heaven because that's where we're going, right? So I'm letting you guys know this because how many times do you go and, or I shouldn't say that. How many times have you had the experience? Change it up. How many times have you had the experience where you've been in the presence of someone who was passing away, someone who is dying, and they have conversations with you, and they're like, "Oh my God, pull that chair up. So and so is here to visit." And you're like, "Who's here to visit?" "Oh, that woman, blah 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 blah." And they'll say out a name who you don't know, and you're like, "What are you talking about? Are you on too much medication?" Right? Or they'll be like, grab a chair for that lady, grab a chair for this one, grab a chair for them. "Oh, my brother was here earlier," and you're like, "Your brother died 10 years ago." Right? What I want you guys to know is that I see this all the time with people who are passing, because our soul is getting ready for that transition to go to the other side. So what I want you to know is that when children see the departed, it's just because they're a new soul here in this world. And I like to think of it as a beautiful protection that children have around them. And more importantly, I also think it's a way for you to connect with your loved ones as well. I think that sometimes your loved ones like when your child or your son or your daughter or your grandchild says that they see mommy or excuse me, they see your mommy or your daddy that had passed, or their grandmother, their grandfather, or nonna, or whoever it is that's on the other side, because it also shows you that there's nothing to be afraid of, and more importantly, that your loved ones aren't missing out on any of their life. And sometimes what also happens too is that even though children don't remember necessarily being on the other side and meeting with their grandmother or grandfather who had passed years ago, they do sometimes retain certain things. So, for example, there was this man that I was just reading for. He's, it was actually, I just read him at an online group reading event. And he's so much older, but his dad passed away when he was just born. His father had passed away. His dad was an auto mechanic here in this world, always was working on cars, constantly working. And then when his father passed away, he never got to know his father. He never got to know his father's business. He never got to know about the cars. Everything was sold after his father died, and nobody really talked about it. But as this kid grew older, what was so amazing is that he knew so much about cars. He knew so much about engines and brakes, and all of a sudden he became a mechanic and followed in his father's footsteps, even though he never had his dad there to teach him. It's because his dad would visit him back when he was when he was just an infant, growing up within life, and share stories and talk to him just like any other father would. So I want to share with you guys that as well, because it's truly amazing, this veil that's between us, right? There's just a veil. If I were to lift this veil up right now, you would see what children see. You would see the spirits all among us. And it's amazing because they never truly leave our side. And it's kind of a disadvantage for us, right? Because we can't see into their world, but they can see into our world. And in fact, the spirit world exists right among us. So yes, our loved ones are in a different place, but they're also with us here every single day. And I think that that's so beautiful. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing the readings that I do. I wish that you all could see what I see. And what I love about the online readings is that when I'm doing an online reading with you guys, right? For those of you who have been to an online reading, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you who have not, I do these online group readings. They're online Zoom readings. And it's like a big seance, right? And during those online Zoom reading events, the souls start talking to me. And it's almost like we see through the veil, and the souls start coming through with different messages. One minute I might be talking to someone's father who had passed away. So next thing you know, going to somebody else in Kansas because they lost their mom. So next thing you know, connecting with someone in Canada because they had lost their son or their daughter. And it's amazing how all the souls are in one place, but they are able to communicate with us right through Zoom, right through the video online readings. So what I want you guys to know is that if you're missing someone in heaven, right, and you would like to connect with someone, unfortunately, I don't do private readings anymore, but there's two ways to get a reading with me, right? You can come and join me at a live in-person event. So this week I'm heading to Plymouth, Massachusetts. Then I'm coming to the opposite coast. So I'll be giving live readings in Plymouth, Massachusetts, 2 nights. July 14th and 15th, I'm coming to give live readings at Plymouth Memorial Hall in Plymouth, Massachusetts. If you can make it, you got to reserve your spot on my website, meetmattfraser.com. And then I'm coming to the West Coast, where I'll be in Las Vegas giving live readings at the Las Vegas Venetian. That's also happening in July. And then I'm heading to Erie, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Northfield, Ohio. I'm coming to Harris, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. I'm coming to Moncton, Canada, Omaha, Nebraska. All the dates are up on my website. Oh, Santa Rosa, California, Sacramento, California. You gotta join me. Also, Laughlin, Nevada is up there as well. And if you can't make it to a live in-person event, you can also join me online. I do live readings right here from this office, and they're called online group readings. And it's funny because somebody wrote to me today, and they're like, Matt, what is the online readings? Is it that we sign up to watch other people get read? Is that what happens? And I'm like, no, you're part of the experience. I'm like, when you sign up for an online reading, I read as many souls that come through to me. If you lost your father, if you lost your mother, if you lost your so-and-so on the other side, and they have a message for you, I'm going to deliver it for you. That's the reason why I do these online readings. It's not about the individual readings. It's about us all being together and hearing from the souls on the other side. It's amazing because during these events, it's literally like a big family reunion with heaven. I've been able to connect with sisters, mothers, brothers, fathers, you name it. So that being said, if you've been seeing all the readings that I've been doing online, if you've been seeing all the little videos and you're like, oh my God, I wonder who'd come through for me, or I wish that I could do this, or I wish that Matt would connect with my mom or my dad. You got to join the next online reading event. So here's where you can go, meetmattfraser.com, meetmattfraser.com. Because the thing is to keep it a group, I have to limit the amount of people attending. So I can't let all of you join, right? So right now there's only one online reading left on my website. It's in August. So if you'd like to scoop it up, I'll be doing readings right here in my office. You'll be able to see me. I'll be able to see you guys, and I'll also be able to see your loved ones in spirit. So it's $19 to attend an online reading. You just have to make sure that you reserve your spot. I'm going to put the link in the comments, meetmattfraser.com. That's meetmattfraser.com. And what I also, oh my God, thank you so much. I love that. I see that Chrissy's coming tomorrow because I have one tomorrow. I also see that, oh my God, thank you so much. Lynn says she already signed up for the online reading on the 16th. Lynn, see, I'm glad you joined when you did because we are almost sold out. Oh my God, I get so freaking excited, you guys, to see all of you because I know that many of you have been following me for weeks, months, even years. So to be coming to so many cities this year, to be coming to so many states, to be able to go and connect with your loved ones in spirit is an absolute honor and a privilege for me. And I want to thank you guys so much for trusting me with these messages. So I really hope this video helped you. And also, I want to thank you guys so much for all the love that you give to me, Alexa, and Royce. We love seeing you guys so, so much. And more importantly, if you do have that experience where you have a young child that's connecting and seeing spirit, don't freak out. Just understand it's a beautiful reminder that your loved ones are there and with you. And it's also a beautiful sign of protection showing you that you're not alone. Your loved ones in spirit are right there through every single milestone, every single achievement. And remember that they're always right there and with you. So whether you want to see me live in person or if you'd like to attend an online reading with me right from this office, go right here. meetmattfraser.com, meetmattfraser.com, because my goal is to read as many of you as possible, but I can only read you if you come to a live event or if you come to an online reading. So that being said, I really hope that you'll sign up because I'm really hoping to connect you with your loved ones in spirit. And more importantly, I love seeing you guys every single day, and I love sharing these messages with you, and I cannot wait till one day I'm able to deliver you a direct message from heaven. But until then, stay connected to the signs, know that your loved ones are there, and also check around you. Take a look at what the children are doing. If your kids are seeing or connecting with someone who's not there, ask them questions, be proactive, and know one thing. Know that's most likely a soul on the other side that's coming through, keeping an eye on your loved ones, and also keeping an eye on you. So that being said, I will talk to you guys soon. I hope to see you in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and Las Vegas. And for the rest of you, I hope to see you online. Trust in the signs, and remember, you are never alone. Heaven is just a thought away. That I promise you.